The goal of today's video is to go over everything you need to know about a home equity line of credit, which is also called a HELOC. Welcome to Keeping Mortgages Real, where we provide clear mortgage information so you can make better financial decisions. And if you need a pre-approval or looking to buy a home in the District, Virginia, or Maryland, reach out to us. We're at 3easysteps.me. We can be contacted through our website, which is just 3easysteps.me. What we want to go over today is what is a home equity line of credit? How would you determine which one's best for you? What is one huge danger to avoid for home equity lines of credit? I really want to emphasize this one. And the fourth is a cool trick you can do with a home equity line of credit. So let's dig in. What is it? Basically, the best way to think about a home equity line of credit, we'll call them HELOCs, is it's like a big credit card secured against your house. It acts just like a credit card. There is a maximum amount you can borrow, just like a credit card. You don't have to borrow any of it. You could just have a credit card and leave it in your drawer and not use it for years. Same thing with a home equity line. You could set it up and never use it for a long time. You can borrow as little or as much as you want of the maximum line. So if you have a limit of $100,000, you can borrow $1 all the way up to $100,000. Typically, there's a minimum payment like a credit card that has to be made, usually interest only. Also, you can borrow some money, pay some down, and then borrow more as long as you're under the maximum limit. So it really does act like just one big credit card, if you will. The interest rate is floating. It's not a fixed interest rate. And again, the payments generally are minimum payments, not something that's fixed or has to be paid off by a specific time. Uses of a home equity line of credit. It could be sometimes you just want an insurance policy. What I mean by that is, say if you have $100,000 of equity, you might set up a home equity line in case there's an emergency that comes up and you need the money, but you just don't plan to use the home equity line. It's just there if you need it. Other times someone has some renovations. They want to build a screen porch in the backyard and just need money temporarily to get the project going, and they'll pay it back over a little bit of time. Others is for paying for a wedding or whatever you'd use money for. But basically, it gives you flexibility to use some of the equity of your home to be available in cash whenever you need it. When you're determining what type of home equity line to get, you want to understand about how much your home is worth, how much you currently owe, and the difference between what your home's worth and what you owe is how much equity you have in the home, and about how big you would like the home equity line to be. Like, say, for example, if you do have $100,000 in equity, would you want a home equity line the full 100,000, or I only need a home equity line for about 50,000? The reason being is that different banks and different institutions offer a wide range of home equity lines, and some offer certain deals if you're setting it to this big of a line, and others offer deals if you're offering it or setting up a line this big. So you just need to know how big of a line you want relative to the equity you have to select the best one. And if you are Maryland, Virginia, or DC, I do have a few good contacts depending on what you're looking for that you might want to talk to, and feel free to reach out to me if helpful. There's a really super big danger for a home equity line. Most of the time people would think, and it's a little risk for this, that since the interest rate fluctuates, that's a risky nature of the home equity line. And that is a risk, but usually you're not borrowing a ton of money. So interest rate fluctuations generally won't put your finances at risk, even though it'll be an inconvenience for sure. The danger, and this is huge, if there's anything you hear today, this is it. I have seen instances where people have taken a $100,000 home equity line just in case, and they just spent it. And literally now they're in the hole, $100,000 of stuff they didn't need that they just got. They did these patios and stuff they never would have done otherwise because they didn't have the money to do it. And now they're $100,000 in debt they wouldn't have been otherwise. So I can't say strongly enough with a home equity line, and this probably isn't you, it probably doesn't apply to you, but I still feel obliged to mention it, is the big risk for a home equity line is just to take a good look in the mirror and make sure if you had that money available, that you would not be spending it on stuff you wouldn't be spending money on otherwise. As long as that's the case, a home equity line is a great insurance policy to have in case you need it. But if that even is a potential kind of sort of maybe risk for you, don't get one. Don't put your finances long-term at risk just by having that temptation. There's a cool trick with a home equity line. Is that, say, for example, if you own a home and 3 years from now you're pretty certain you're going to move, and that was our personal case with our family. What we did is we set up a home equity line for 100% of the value of our equity at the time and just didn't touch it for years. But when we bought our home before we sold our current home, but we drew all the equity of our current loan. We drew up the home equity line, borrowed the max amount, used that for a down payment on our new home, and then we sold our, the first home. It just paid off the mortgage and the home equity line. So we were able to use all the equity from our current home before we actually sold our current home for the new home we purchased because we set up a home equity line years ago. If you think that might be applicable to you, definitely set up the home equity line way in advance because you won't be able to do it if it's just like 6 months from the time you might actually be purchasing a new home. Hope this was helpful. If you have any questions at all about home equity lines or mortgages in general, reach out to us. We're at 3easysteps.me. And until next video, hope you're having a great day and good luck in your home search. Take care.